Hey guys, Earl Skakel here. I'm often making stupid videos on here, showing you my stand-up clips or just trying to get some laughs or whatnot. But as many wrestling fans know, it's a sad day for the world of pro wrestling with Bray Wyatt passing away. And I met him recently, maybe about 2 months ago at the Comedy Store. I was about to go on. It was pretty late at night. And I'm just standing there in the back hallway. It's kind of like the bullpen area, if you've ever been to the Comedy Store. So you can see when the comic before you is about to get off. And, I've done comedy for a long time, 23 years or something. So I don't get nervous too much anymore. It's more adrenaline than, oh my God, can I do this? And Bray Wyatt walked in and sat down in the owner's seat, and I got nervous. I'm like, man, I don't want to bomb in front of one of my favorite pro wrestlers. And I was a big fan of his dad, IRS. I almost said Iron Mike Sharp. And for 15 minutes, all I did were wrestling jokes. And the crowd was like, what the fuck is going on here? I'm like, hey, didn't anyone else think IRS in the WWE was an actual IRS agent? I did. Dead silence, but Bray Wyatt laughing in the back. And I did a few Kamala jokes and whatnot. And he came up to me in the hallway. He's like, you're funny, man. And I'm like, you're Bray Wyatt. And me and some other friends of mine gave him a tour of the Comedy Store, and we took him into areas nobody gets to go to if you're not a comic. Probably the most special part of the evening was taking him into Mitzi Shore's office, the beloved owner of the Comedy Store who passed away a couple years ago. And just to put that into perspective, I've been doing comedy, like I said, 23 years. I'd never been up there. And so we all go up there, and he was like a little kid. He's asking me questions about, oh my God, is that Freddie Prinze Jr.? Because there's a picture of Freddie in there. And Mitzi's office has gone untouched since she worked out of it and created a lot of famous careers like Jim Carrey and Freddie Prinze Jr. and Gary Shandling. And it was mind-blowing to me to see Bray Wyatt in there. First of all, I didn't realize how big he was. I mean, I'm a pretty big guy, 6'1", 215, something in that area. And I felt like a 8-year-old Filipino boy. And he was with his wife, and all he did was talk about his kids. And I didn't want to ask him too many questions about wrestling. And then we took him on the roof of the Comedy Store. And we just talked about an hour with his wife and a couple other comics. And he was just like the nicest guy. And I know that he eventually was going to get into stand-up. I don't know if he was going to do it full-time or not, but, he told me he didn't really like the Mountain Dew match that he was in. Like, he loved LA Knight, but he didn't really like the match, And, I could tell that, he just wanted to be creative. And, of course, I always, I guess I can say this now, but I'm an AEW fan. I guess I prefer it much more than the WWE. Nothing against the WWE. I just like the AEW product better. And I'm like, hey, you got to tell me one thing. How close were you to going to AEW? And I'll just say this. I don't think he was a big fan of Tony Khan. I don't know what went down, if anything, but I didn't want to bug him. So, but I could tell he was excited to be back. And, his wife was excited. And he said, hey, here's my phone number. Call me anytime. I'm like, I don't think you want to tell me to call one of my favorite pro wrestlers anytime. He's like, no, you can call me anytime, man. I'm like, unless you want some questions about Kamala or something, I'll take it down, but I won't abuse the privilege. Of course, I called him the next day, but I just wanted to say how nice he was. And, you know, some guys, they act nice in front of the cameras, and, you know, they're maybe not so nice when the cameras are off. But he was even nicer than, you know, what you'd think he would be. I remember the first time I met him, my friend and fellow comic Sarah Tiana took me to a WWE event at the Forum, which is an arena that means a lot to me. Went to many King and Laker games there in the 80s and whatnot. And I think Dolph Ziggler was wrestling The Miz, and they put on this amazing match. And I think it was Miro and Brock Lesnar. So we went backstage to say hello to Dolph, and I rounded, you know, you're like a little kid in Disneyland. You know, you see all these famous wrestlers who you're fans of, and I'm just like walking around like that. And I turned the corner and I bumped into Bray Wyatt and Brody Lee, and they both stared at me like they were going to do something. And Brody Lee just looks down on me, and he's probably, I don't know, 8 inches taller than me. And it's like, watch it, kid. And then they both smiled and gave me a little tap on the shoulder. So I just wanted to tell a positive story about Bray, and I know he's with Brody again. And that's all. It's just a sad day for wrestling. And, you know, I hope that WWE and AEW, who I know they're all going to London probably right now on planes, I hope they give him a nice tribute, because he was one of the good ones. And that's all. So I hope you enjoyed this little tribute. I know it's not much. I know I have a pretty crappy background, my kitchen. But, you know, the Wyatt family is slowly reuniting in heaven. And send Eric Rowan some messages online. Let him know he's got a lot of support through the fans, because he's got to be pretty sad to lose 2 of his friends. So I love you guys. Thank you for listening.